In the year 2148, humanity discovers Prothean technology buried on Mars. This leads to the discovery of Mass Effect fields which allow for faster than light travel. The following year, in 2149, it is discovered that Pluto's largest moon, Charon, is actually a mass relay. And mass relays being a network of transit devices that allow for instantaneous interstellar travel between relays. In 2157, humanity makes first contact with the alien race known as the Turians. Basically, what happens is the Turians discover humans fucking around with a dormant mass relay, which is super against galactic law, and they open fire. The following 3 months are known as the First Contact War, and right before the Turians launched a full-scale assault, the Council stepped in to broker peace. Turians are originally from the planet Palaven, and they're a heavily militaristic culture. Their most distinguished features are their metallic carapaces and the mandibles around their mouths. They have very prominent avian features and are seen by some as the peacekeepers of the galaxy. Turians typically wear elaborate tattoos and markings of their colony of origin, and it's often looked down upon to not have markings. The average Turian lifespan is comparable to that of humans, and every citizen aged 15 to 30 has to serve the state in some capacity, whether that's a soldier, administrator, or engineer, or etc. Turian society is highly regimented, and at the center of it all is their military. They were also the third race to join the Citadel Council, earning their seat for their role in ending the Krogan rebellions. The Krogan are large reptilians native to the planet of Tuchanka. Harsh environments, scarce resources, and an overabundance of vicious predators, the Krogan not only survived, but they thrived in these extreme conditions. As their society became more technologically advanced, so too did their weapons. This led to all-out nuclear war that destroyed their homeworld and reduced their race to primitive warring tribes. Their large humps store fluid and nutrients, allowing them to go long periods of time without food and water. They have incredibly thick hides and are highly resistant to environmental hazards like toxins, radiations, and various temperatures. Krogan biology is particularly interesting in that it features multiple instances of major organs. These secondary and sometimes tertiary systems can serve as a backup in case of damage to their primary organs. Some examples of this are their 2 hearts, 4 lungs, 4 testicles, and a secondary nervous system. This makes Krogan extremely hard to kill, coupled with the fact that they can live well over 1,000 years. The Krogan were liberated from their primitive state by the Salarians, which we'll get to in a bit. At the time, the Council was threatened by the Rachni, an intelligent, hostile-like insect species. This was also known as the Rachni Wars. The Salarians hoped the Krogan would help with their bug problem, and they did to great effect. The rapidly breeding Krogan were able to withstand the harsh homeworlds of the Rachni and pursued their hive mind queens until they eradicated the species entirely. Well, sort of at least, some of them got away. Because of this, the Krogan were briefly considered the saviors of the galaxy, but their rapidly expanding numbers became a threat to the galaxy, and so started the Krogan rebellions, which ended with the Turians dropping a biological weapon known as the genophage that reduced the fertility in Krogan females drastically. The severe drop in births is secondary to prenatal and postnatal deaths, and the genophage itself was developed by none other than the Salarians. The Salarians are a race of warm-blooded amphibians native to the planet Surkesh. They have a hyperactive metabolism, which means they can think fast, talk fast, and move fast. This metabolic state means they have a relatively short lifespan, as most don't live past 40 years. They're renowned for their observational capacity and their non-linear thinking. This gives them a natural aptitude for research and espionage. Salarians are tall and thin, with horns protruding from the top of their heads. Their eyes are large and oval, with thin membranes instead of eyelids. They're able to function with just 1 hour of sleep a day and have photographic memories. Although their military isn't anything special, they're basically the premier intelligence and information gathering species of the Council. The Salarians were also the second species to discover the Citadel, following the Asari. The Asari are native to the planet Thessia, often considered the most influential and respected sentient species in the galaxy. The Asari race is known for their elegance, diplomacy, and biotic aptitude. Also, they're hot. They're an entirely monogendered race, distinctly feminine in appearance and possess maternal instincts. Their unique physiology results in millennium-long lifespans and the ability to reproduce with a partner of any sex, of any species, via a form of parthenogenesis, passing on genetic traits to their daughters. Each Asari can attune her nervous system to that of another individual. This control over their nervous system contributes to the Asari talent for biotics. The Asari were instrumental in proposing and founding the Citadel Council and have been at the heart of galactic society since. After joining the Citadel, Asari prefer to mate outside of their own species. This also reduces incidences of Ardot Yakshi, pure-blooded Asari that suffer from a rare, dangerous, and sexy genetic disorder. Asari resemble humans in terms of basic skeletal structure in comparison to the other species. Typically, they have a blue or purple complexion and have some facial markings or colored patterns. The most prominent feature of the Asari besides their skin color is the cartilage-based scalp crest. These are semi-flexible, rigid structures that are found on top of their head. They also have navels and breasts, and I'm sure you're wondering what's in between their legs. Well, vaginas, logically, and also because I said so. During reproduction, the Asari provides two copies of her own genes, one unaltered and the other is altered through a process called melding. This is when an Asari consciously attunes her nervous system to that of her partner's, sending and receiving electrical impulses directly through the skin. During this process, the eyes of the Asari initiating the meld dilate, as they share memories, thoughts, and feelings. The offspring is always Asari. This melding can happen through touch and doesn't have to result in pregnancy, as in their culture it is also used as an act of intimacy between friends, family, partners, and even sometimes as farewells. The Asari are also widely perceived to be attractive by many other species, for obvious reasons. Next up is the Quarians, a nomadic species known for their skills with technology and synthetic intelligence. The Quarian homeworld of Rannoch was conquered, and so the Quarian race lives aboard the Migrant Fleet, a huge collection of starships that travel together. Generally, Quarians are slightly shorter than humans, but their facial structure and hair actually makes them most similar to humans in physical appearance. Besides their legs, which are bowed backwards, their general body shape and sexual dimorphism is similar to humans. The most noticeable feature of Quarian biology is their weak immune system. Compounded by living in sterile environments for centuries, this results in Quarians by necessity wearing a highly sophisticated envirosuit to protect them from disease and infection. They are also known for their extensive cybernetic augmentations integrated into their own bodies. On average, the Quarian lifespan is equal to that of a human's. Approximately 300 years before the events of the first Mass Effect, the Quarians created a species of rudimentary artificial intelligence known as the Geth. Their purpose was to serve as efficient labor. However, the Geth gradually became sentient, and the Quarians, terrified of the consequences, tried to destroy their creations. In the end, it was the Geth that won the war, forcing the Quarians off their own homeworld. The history of the Geth serves as a warning to the rest of the galaxy of the potential dangers of artificial intelligence and to the legally enforced systematic repression of AI throughout galactic society. Although that didn't stop us humans from making some sexy robots. Geth were built to resemble Quarians physically and can operate through a neural network. Basically, in groups they share processing power, but that being said, they're not a hive mind. For the most part, Geths are recluse and secretive, and believed to be hostile by the galactic community. Jumping over to the Andromeda galaxy, the Angara are the creations of the Jardin, an advanced and mysterious race native to the Helios cluster. The original Angaran homeworld is Havarl, but their species spread to many worlds until the Scourged arrived, and set their civilization into pre-industrial dark age that lasted for a century. Angara, despite their appearance, are warm-blooded mammals with similar leg structure to Quarians and Salarians. Their most prominent feature is the folds of flesh on the sides of their heads that extend to their chests. Angara rely heavily on sunlight, specifically the electromagnetic radiation. Lack of real or artificial sunlight causes their immune system and bioenergy to weaken. The rebuild of Angaran civilization was disrupted when the Kett invaded the Helios cluster. The Kett are a hostile alien race found in Andromeda that came from the planet Sarhezen, which the location of which is unknown. To be honest, not much is known about the Kett, but what we do know is that they're a militaristic race that looks down on other species as lesser beings. They possess a natural bone-type armor, and their biology retains traits taken from other species. This genetic manipulation allows them to add beneficial genes from other species to their own. It appears that they reproduce only through an artificial process they call exaltation. They have even developed a serum that rapidly converts other species to obedient Kett. This allows them to build armies or replenish their ranks rather quickly. The Kett revere exaltation as a sacred ritual, believing that species selected are ascending to greatness. We also find the Remnant in the Helios cluster, a synthetic race believed to be created by the advanced species known as the Jardin. After some sort of conflict that unleashed the Scourge in Helios, the Jardin left and have not returned. Back in the Milky Way, the original bad guys are known as the Reapers, highly advanced machines that return every 50,000 years to purge all sentient life forms they deem advanced enough. They were created by an also ancient race of space squids known as Leviathans. They can use mind control, and at one point they were the apex species in the galaxy. But then they built the Reapers, and the rest is, well, history. Although a few still remain hidden in the Milky Way galaxy. Another apex race wiped out by the Reapers are the Protheans. They too ruled over every other species in the galaxy until once again the Reapers showed up. Some of them went into stasis pods in hopes of surviving to the next cycle, but in Mass Effect 3 we find that Javik appears to be the last surviving member of his species. Although not all Protheans were killed, instead the ones captured through indoctrination and gene modification were created into a subservient race known as the Collectors. These insectoid-like aliens have a chitinous exoskeleton and fully developed pair of wings that allow them to fly for short distances. Their bodies are also filled with cybernetic modifications thought to make up for their lack of ability as a result of prolonged indoctrination. Personally, I think it'd be a waste to not see more of the Collectors in future Mass Effect games because they're pretty fucking cool. The Hanar are space jellyfish that appear to have a language fetish and never refer to themselves in the first person. They communicate through sophisticated bioluminescent patterns, and they are extremely polite. The Drell are a reptile-like species that were rescued from their dying homeworld by the Hanar. Their skin is infused with venom mild enough to serve in drinks and may cause mild hallucinations on oral contact. Elcor are native to the high-gravity world Dekuna. They are massive, slow-moving creatures. This is an evolved response to an environment where a fall can mean death, and this means that they're deliberate and conservative. The Vorcha are a race of aliens that look like they serve the sorcerer Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. They're a primitive race that live among the galaxy's darker and more dangerous locations. Most of them are trained as mercenaries and are seen as pests and scavengers. On average, they only live for about 20 years but are highly adaptable. A cut or burn will result in thicker skin. Barely breathable atmosphere will make for stronger lungs. They also heal and breed rapidly, which makes them excellent cannon fodder. But their species is no longer able to evolve as a result of individual adaptation. Batarians are the stupidest looking aliens I have ever seen. I really fucking hate these guys. They're a disreputable species that choose to isolate themselves from the rest of the galaxy for the most part. The Terminus systems are infested with Batarian pirates and slave rings, and it doesn't help that most of them that you see are mercs or refugees, which makes me like them even less. Finally, the Volus come from the planet Irune, with a high-pressure greenhouse atmosphere able to support ammonia-based biochemistry. This means that everywhere else they have to wear these dorky little protective suits. They're notorious for their financial and business success, even being a client of the Turians in fiscal support in exchange for protection. Well, that's just about every race in Mass Effect. I left out a few that I thought served little purpose, and I'd like to give a big thank you to the Mass Effect Wiki and the writers of the various codex entries throughout the games, because I would not be able to make this video without those two sources. I basically lifted all the information you've heard here directly from those, so thank you for that. If you like this video, check out my other lore videos on my channel, and leave me a comment down below telling me what I should do a lore video on next. If your idea is intriguing, I might just do it and give you a shout out. Make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.